so I just want to kind of make this, a little bit quick. And for those that couldn't make it, we're going to send out a little link, I guess, to this video because we're going to record it. And so they'll be able to watch it later. Or if you get cut off or anything, don't worry about it. You'll be able to watch the rest of it later. So we're going to talk about is fear, kind of like we've been saying. What is your biggest fear? Christy, what's your biggest fear?
Well, my biggest fear is losing someone I love. But for PLEXUS purposes, it's public speaking, which is ironic considering we're having a team call and I'm speaking.
Hey, you're doing great.
Thanks.
Yep. How about Stacy? What's your biggest fear? You scared of spiders, ghosts?
No, it's failing my team or failing in this business.
Failing, fear of failure. That's a good one. That's a real good one. Well, here's something. How did you overcome your fear, or have you overcome your fear? Face your fear and do it anyway kind of a thing. And I guess the thing about face your fear and do it anyway is, will the fear ever go away? And today we're going to be talking about fear and overcoming the fear, not just kind of sidestepping it or just kind of doing it. Well, that works in a lot of cases, but what about overcoming the fear? For example, a roller coaster. When I was little, I used to be really scared of roller coasters. I hated them. And, but I didn't want to, I was a little boy, but I didn't want to, look like a little girl. And so I'd face my fear. I'd get on that roller coaster anyway, but I'd be scared to death of that thing. And once we were done with the roller coaster, I did face my fear and do it anyway, but guess what? I was still scared of roller coasters. We were on the second one and the third one. Every time I was still scared. It took me a long time to get over it. And so we're going to talk about overcoming your fears, not just kind of facing it, especially how it relates to your business and things like that. And so we'll start. So what is fear? Webster says it's an unpleasant emotion caused by the belief that someone or something is dangerous, likely to cause pain, or is a threat. And the key words in here, obviously, it's an emotion. It's real, and it's okay to fear, emotion that it kind of counteracts or makes a physical reaction. Your adrenaline starts pumping, you have that fight or flight kind of thing. But one of the things is caused by the belief that someone or something is dangerous. Here's an example what I mean by that, and why that word belief is it's a key word. We have a little cousin, or my niece. Her name is Callie. She's on this call, so I can call her out. She is like an American ninja warrior. She can jump, leap, climb ropes. Doesn't matter how tall it is, she can jump it and climb it. She's really, really good when she sees a butterfly. I'm not kidding. She is afraid of butterflies. When she sees one, she's just like, ha, ha, everything comes out, and she's running, jumping, and just screaming.
And
it's really
11
fun.
Or 12.
She's fun. You should see it. It's very funny. But she has this belief in her mind that that butterfly is somehow out to get her. I don't know. Some have a fear of water. I knew a guy in the military. When I was in the military, you could just about throw a cube of ice at him, and he would be scared he was going to drown. He was very afraid of water. And there's a difference now. They're scared. Scared is a little bit different from fear. Scared is defined basically as a legitimate fear. I'm not saying that fear is fake, but being scared is different from having fear. It's defined, like I said, as legitimate fear. For example, falling off a cliff. You can be scared of falling off a cliff because if you fall off a cliff, like say there's a 10-foot drop, you'll really legitimately get hurt. There's really something there that could hurt you. And so that's why there's a difference between scared and fear. You can't necessarily overcome scared because if there's an actual danger there, that's a reaction in your mind to, keep away or stay away from that. So we'll get back to fear then. So fear, first and foremost, fear is okay. It's okay to fear. There's nothing wrong with it. It keeps us at attention. It keeps us focused by what we're doing or what's around us. But what is fear telling us? Why do we fear in other areas that other people don't fear, and then how do we conquer it? And that's what we'll talk about tonight. And but to understand that is first we have to understand where fear comes from. And so I like to start at the beginning. Okay, so in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. I'm kidding. I told Christy I'd do that. Okay, we won't go that far back, but maybe just a little bit. A little bit of stuff about me, a little bit of something about me is I'm a big science buff, aviator. I do believe heavily in science, but I also believe in creation. But other ways, science is science. And I say aviator because the science of flight is not really based on beliefs, but is based on facts. Without it, you can't fly. My whole life has been really centered around aviation. You know, flew helicopters in the Army. I built things when I was little. I piloted aircraft, things like that. And so I'm kind of like, I'm a stick with the facts kind of a person. I know it drives my wife crazy because sometimes when she goes shopping, you know, she'll come back and say, so how much did you spend? And she wants to start off with how much she saved. I know I'm talking to a lot of women here, but to a guy, I just want to know the facts. How much do they cost? And it drives her a little bit crazy. And so one of the things I want to do that helped me to kind of explain fear and how to overcome it is to say some facts. And here's like an example. One fact is, did you know that God did not create, or in science, there is no darkness. God did not create darkness. Matter of fact, the Bible says darkness was already all around. What God did create was light. And what we have today is light. When the room is dark, we'll go flip on a light switch. When electricity goes out, we'll grab a flashlight or a candle. And so the tangible thing is light. We can turn light on, we can turn light off, we can do anything we want. But you can't do that with darkness. You know, you can't go to Walmart and go find you a flashlight that, you know, makes things dark. It just doesn't happen. It's only light. Another thing, coldness. How about cold? You know, God did not create cold. But what God did create, and what we do have, the tangible thing is heat. Heat can be added to or taken away, for example, like a candle or something like that. Your refrigerator and your air conditioner at your house, it does not necessarily cool things, even though we say that, but what it does mechanically inside is it's drawing out the heat. So it's just taking out the heat. So like darkness is an absence of light. Cold is just absence of heat. And so what about fear? Did God create fear? You know, he tells us all the time in the Bible over and over, do not fear. So what is fear? Here we go. Here, what is fear the absence of? Anybody have an idea? How about let's chip in? Christy, I'm going to bug you. What would you say fear is the absence of?
Fear is the absence of faith, maybe,
Faith.
or confidence.
Confidence. Some would say courage. Some would say fear is the absence of courage. But here's the thing on courage. Courage is defined as the ability to do something that frightens one. It's kind of like face your fear and do it anyway. So you have something that's scary, something that frightens you, and you have courage to do it anyway. For example, like when I was saying about the roller coaster, I would do it anyway, but at the end, you know, I had the courage to get on the roller coaster, but I was still afraid of roller coasters. I still had the fear. You guys remember that show, Fear Factor? You remember how sometimes they would get people that they'd find something scary, like, I don't know, a bunch of snakes or something like that. They'd stick them in this big clear box, and you had to stay in there for like 2 or 3 minutes or something. It's just a bunch of snakes. None of them would bite. It's just, you know, like rat snakes and garden snakes and stuff. But they'd be crawling all over them, and they'd have a legitimate fear, and they had courage to jump into this box and stay in there. But once they were done, they'd get out, they'd do the heebie-jeebie dance and stuff like that. They'd obviously say, I'd never do that again. They still had the fear. So they didn't overcome the fear. They just had courage to face it just in that second, which is great. I'm not downing that at all. We need that all the time to do things that we're fearful of. What I want to talk about today is like how to overcome specific fears. Let's see here. So here's my main point. This is the main point of my discussion, how to overcome fear. After we just discussed what fear is fear is the absence of knowledge. Fear is the absence of knowledge. Knowledge is how you conquer fear. Kind of like darkness and cold. There's something that's there that is the absence of. So fear is the absence of knowledge. Example, let's go back to the butterfly. Callie is scared of butterflies. She believes that somehow that butterfly is going to hurt her, swallow her up. I don't know what's going through her head. It's quite funny to watch her dance around. But then my 3-year-old knows that it's harmless and chases the butterfly as best she can, even though she never catches it. A person that is fearful of water can conquer that fear by knowing how to swim. You see what I'm getting to? Even how about, let's just take this big, how about the fear of dying? A lot of us have that fear of dying. But then a lot of us also know what happens afterward, and you can conquer that fear. So let's bring this back to us. Let's bring this back to PLEXUS. Okay. So what are your fears, or rather, what knowledge are you lacking? You see where I'm going? Fear is a great learning tool, and it tells you areas that you need to strengthen. For example, does fear well up inside of you when you think about cold calling? I mean, just that word alone, skips a lot of people's heart. I know, like Christy, she has a lot of fear. She even said before her greatest fear is public speaking. Mm-hmm. And so how about when you're at the grocery store and you see that perfect opportunity? Is there a fear or something that wells up inside of you that says, I just can't talk to them, and I can go on and on. I think a salesperson's, whatever you're selling, whatever you're sharing, their biggest fear is the unknown, okay? The questions that go through your head is, what if they ask me a question I don't know? Will I look like, a fool, or will I look incompetent? And so we kind of have those fears. So in the world of PLEXUS, if we plan on sharing with anyone, number one, it's our duty to give accurate information and to show that love. And that's really it. And so fear will block that love every time. Really, fear says, I'm not sure how to tell you this. Knowledge says, I can't wait to tell you. Fear says, I may not know all the answers. Knowledge says, you can ask me anything. I'm ready for you. Fear says not to talk to that lady next to you at the checkout counter at the store. And knowledge says that store clerk can wait because you're talking to somebody, Fear says it may not work, but knowledge says it'll work every single time. Fear says, what if they ask me why Slim is pink? Knowledge says it's all about the beats. Sometimes it's easy. So ask yourself this question: where do you lack? And where your lack is, what is your fear in the business? And you can ask yourself, how do I overcome that fear? And one of the things you can do in PLEXUS specifically is really gain that knowledge. Dig into every single little thing that PLEXUS has to offer. Know what it's about. Know the ingredients. Know why it works, how it works. But don't confuse this with memorizing everything. You can memorize the ingredients. So when somebody asks, why is that in there? Why is chromium in PLEXUS, and what is it doing? A lot of that fear in us can say, well, I don't know. That's the biggest fear, saying I don't know. And when you're trying to share PLEXUS with somebody. And so my encouragement to you, maybe just take one product a day and really dig into that product. What are the ingredients? Why is PLEXUS have this on the market for people? What is it going to do for them? What is it going to do for you? And then you can think of ways how to share it. And so what will happen is when you come up to those opportunities to share, whether it's live calls or just the person at the checkout counter, your friend or something like that, that fear is going to be conquered almost 100% because you know what you're talking about. For example, if somebody's going to come up to you and ask, what's your name? How long have you been married? What are your kids' names? Well, I guess it'd be kind of creepy if they ask you all that stuff, but you have no fear. You can tell them because you know what you're talking about. One of the things I remember being in the military is, that is a scary place. There are legitimate things out there that are scary, but I remember fear when you didn't know what was out there. Military intelligence is very big, and When we know where everything is, really that fear is almost all but gone because we know where we're going, we know where everything is. And so just bringing it back to what I was saying before, it's the knowledge that really conquers that fear. Is there any questions so far? I'll open it up. Christy, I'll pick on you. So when I talk about knowledge conquering fear, like if somebody was to come up right now and ask you, what is the ingredients that's in the children's vitamins? You know what I mean? Can you imagine that maybe just being a little bit fearful at first? Or do you know? Do you know all the ingredients that are in there? No.
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, see, there you go. And so it's just knowing things, knowing that really kind of just squelches that fear. Then we talked about, we didn't talk about, I'll talk about.
Wait.
Mute us and then mute us.
Uh-oh. That's fine.
Is it wrong?
Sorry.
Oh,
I checked with the calculator. It's wrong.
you got it? So confidence. How can we have confidence? Well, I tell you right now that without fear, confidence is very easy. There still can be a little bit of fear there. But once you start getting out there, your confidence really grows. Whenever you've got the whole fear thing out of the way, whenever you know your product, whenever you know your business, you know the back office, you can kind of talk somebody through it without having to do it yourself. Your confidence really, really does boost. I know Chrissy said, sometimes if she can just have half the confidence. But I guarantee you, without fear and with knowledge, you'll have more than half that confidence. And that's pretty much it for my little fear thing. I just want to be really short and kind of give you guys just a rundown. There's so many different facets, I guess, of fear. I just really want to stick with our business, and how we can just kind of overcome that fear. And so my encouragement to you, those that are listening, those who will see this later, is know the product. And you'll see, without a doubt, that a lot of those fears will be completely gone. You'll be completely overcome. Now I'll turn it over to you, Christy. Have no fear.
-2. Can you do that?
Okay. Well, I think that's it, but I wanted to see if there was any questions. Anyone
Yes.
have any questions?
I'm going to stay on here until everybody's gone. Have any questions?
Comments or
Rewrite this problem.
go ahead.
I think Ryan did an excellent job. Of course, that's his mother-in-law talking, but
Okay.
I see what I do.
I agree. Good job, Ryan.
Thank you.
I know sometimes, like, me and fear, the way that I overcome it, like, one of my huge fears was doing a video. And when Christy and Beth had a meeting at, I think, Christy's house, and me and Bridget did a video, that was the first time that I ever did a video of my testimony, and I was so nervous. And I remember I sat in my bedroom in the hallway, and I recorded that thing probably 100 times.
Sure.
But then once I did it, I overcame that fear. Like, I proved to myself, I can do this. It's not the end of the world if I say something dumb or I mess up. Like, it helped me to be able to get on Zooms with y'all, and, like, it just helped me really overcome my fear of doing videos.
Right that.
Sure. And you know yourself. We all have videos that we like to do. You know who you are.
What you gotta do.
Yourself. You just have to just be yourself.
Right.
Yeah. My favorite things that Bridget yesterday, she talked about fear just a little bit, which is just like, I would call like a little nugget of knowledge. She talked about fear of like your friends saying no, or anybody you come across saying no. And one thing that you should know and realize is that they're not saying no to you. They're saying no to PLEXUS. If you ask your best friend, hey, you know, do you want to try this PLEXUS? They say no. They're not going to run home and defriend you and delete you off Facebook and, you know, delete your phone number on their phone. They just don't want PLEXUS. You know, that was really big. I think a lot of times we have that fear that, you know, somebody says no, they're rejecting us as a person. Maybe we take it a little bit personal. And there is a fear of, you know, that kind of rejection. But just having that knowledge of knowing that, you know, they're saying no to the product. And it could be a lot of things. They just have money. They don't want to tell you they have money. Or maybe they're taking something else. Or maybe they're already taking PLEXUS from someone else. I've noticed a few times. So they just don't want to hurt your feelings, whatever. But just the fact that if you just realize that they're not really saying no to you as a person in a personal manner, but, you know, just to the product.
Right. It's just like if you're at a restaurant and they ask, do you want some more water? And you say no. You're not saying no to them. You're saying no to the water.
Right. They're not going to go in the back, right? You know.
Right.
Be
So
upset.
you have to look at it that way. You can't take it personally.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, all right. Well, I hope everybody got a little something from this. It is almost 9:30. I know it's bedtime for a lot of us. We still have some kids running around. I hear footsteps. And so I'm done with my part. Christy, did you have anything else? Or Beth, did you have anything?
I think that's it. We're going to do this once a month. It'll be on the last Tuesday of every month. And then we might do some other videos and record them and send those out. But as far as the live call, it'll be every last Tuesday.
Yay!
Yay.
Well, good night, everybody.